Media post from UNICEF described as shameful the ongoing violence against children in Gaza, pointing specifically to the strikes against a school in Deir al-Balah and the Al-Aqsa hospital that killed over a dozen children, calling for the shameful violence against children to end now, a view echoed again by the UN Secretary-General.
The Secretary General condemns the large number of civilian casualties in the intensifying Israeli campaign in northern Gaza, including its schools displacing sheltered Palestinian civilians. He strongly urges the parties to the conflict, all parties to the conflict, to comply with international humanitarian law and emphasizes that civilians must be respected and protected at all times. Humanitarian assistance into Gaza is woefully inadequate and is at the lowest level in months.
Despite ongoing military activities, a second round of polio vaccinations targeting almost 600,000 children in Gaza got underway Monday, amid conditions that remain catastrophic, including outbreaks of infectious diseases, diarrhea, respiratory infections and skin diseases.
People are living out in the open. Not enough water, no proper sanitation, immune systems and mental health degraded by months upon months of relentless bombardment when people go to sleep not knowing if they're going to wake up the following day. All of this creates absolutely catastrophic conditions for people's health, particularly women, particularly children. And that's precisely why we are here today administering a polio campaign as a direct result of the re-emergence of polio in Gaza.
Meanwhile, UN agencies, including UNICEF and the World Food Programme, are warning that continued fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in southern Lebanon has triggered a humanitarian catastrophe with around 1.2 million people already affected. As the Security Council urged all parties to that conflict to respect the safety and security of UNIFIL premises and personnel.
The members of the Security Council expressed their strong concerns after several UNIFIL positions came under fire in the past days. Several peacekeepers have been wounded. They urged all parties to respect the safety and security of UNIFIL personnel and UN premises. They recalled that UN peacekeepers and UN premises must never be the target of an attack. They reiterated their support to UNIFIL, underscoring its role in supporting regional stability. They expressed as well their deep concern for civilian casualties and sufferings, the destruction of civilian infrastructure, and the rising number of internally displaced people. They called on all parties to abide by international humanitarian law.
The head of UN peace operations confirmed that despite calls from Israel that UNIFIL move its positions further north of the blue line, that peacekeepers would remain in position in an effort to fulfill their mandate.
What is UNIFIL's mandate given by the Security Council? UNIFIL's mandate is a mandate to support the parties in their implementation of Resolution 1701. In other words, it's for the parties to implement Resolution 1701. UNIFIL is not mandated to implement and certainly not to enforce Resolution 1701. UNIFIL is mandated to support the parties. And I would also add that it is important in relation to our current decision to stay in the position because we all hope that there will be a return to the negotiating table.
Different kind of war.
With reports emerging that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had informed the US administration that they would target Iran's military, not its nuclear and oil sites, in response to Iran's barrage of missiles fired at Israel on October 1st. All this as the United States announced the deployment of an anti-ballistic terminal high-altitude area defense battery system to Israel, along with 100 military personnel to operate it, in what the Pentagon described as underscoring Washington's commitment to the defense of Israel. Further reporting suggests that an Israeli strike against Iran could come before the US election on November 5th. The Biden administration believes a strike against Iran's nuclear or oil facilities could trigger a dramatic escalation in the region, while Tehran has vowed a crushing response
to any further acts of malevolence directed against it by Israel. Chauvin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.